Hi, I'm Richard Dean Anderson.
Name's MacGyver.
Colonel Jack O'Neill, SG-1.
My name is Pratt. Ernest Pratt.
I always get a happy, tingly feeling when I see those guys.
Name one contract that I failed to execute.
MacGyver.
Oh, here we go.
You're a target. And I don't intend to miss.
Over my rotting corpse. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Glowing eyes, cliche behavior, evilness, that kind of thing. Is mental illness contagious?
You think?
You can do anything you want to do if you put your mind.
Well, you do have a penchant for pulling brilliant ideas out of your butt. Head. Out of your head when we need them. Oh, stuff's already here. I just find a different way to use it. I like your attitude.
Permission to take a team through the Stargate, sir.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of the MacGyver podcast. I'm your host, Mac Jackson. And with me again is the wonderful and lovely Cindy Jackson.
Hello.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? Before we get started today, we're going to discuss another MacGyver episode from season 1, To Be a Man. But before that, some other things to share with you. RDA has taken a sabbatical. He had to cancel a con that he was going to go to because he has to take care of himself. It's with his back and, he gets headaches and stuff. So he's doing the right thing, and instead of pushing, he's stepping back and relaxing for a bit. Future, from what we've seen, future appearances are not canceled. So apparently he's still doing them. You can check the MacGyver online people. They're great. It's where I go for my information just to double check some stuff. So yeah, according to them, he's still scheduled. So yay. Speaking of which, with his back pain, I know how he feels. I said to Cindy, I like that I have a lot in common with Rick, mannerisms and likes and humor and all that kind of good stuff. One of the things I don't like is the knee and back pain that we seem to share. I just bent over last Sunday, a week ago, and I'm still in pain. So that happened. Let's see, what else? Still waiting to hear on Amazon on the Stargate series, the new stuff that we're supposed to be getting, but they're dragging their feet, and apparently the MGM people went to them and said, that's enough, let's get going. And apparently the president of Amazon has said to the woman in charge, what the heck are you waiting for? I get all this information from Sidetrack, by the way. Subscribe to them. They do a great job, and they're kind of my go-to to hear the latest rumors and gossip and stuff. Jamie, who runs it, he's great and has had me on the show a couple times. And once we get some information on Stargate, I'll be back on there to talk about it. But yeah, it's very frustrating right now if you're a Stargate fan, because it's right there, and they're not doing anything with the franchise. Our dog is now being a pest. Yes, we love you. Hello, Duffy. Yeah. Hi. So, can you lay down? We're trying to do a thing here. No? Okay. Just give me one of those. I'm in the middle of writing the next episode of the MacGyver SG-1 audio series with a crossover that will be very exciting with another franchise that makes sense. If you've been on our socials, you'll see the hints that I've been giving. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, good stuff coming. So buckle up. Please go to the Forever Adventure. Oh, the Forever Adventure Network. Here you go. Here's a little thing I can pop up there. We're trying a new recording site called Riverside. We were on, StreamYard, and we're very happy with it. And everybody else seemed to be, they made the Zoom mistake and Skype before them. People like them. They start telling people about it to help their business, and they get greedy. And StreamYard doubled their price.
More than doubled, actually.
More than doubled. So, yeah, done with them. Sorry, guys, but give me a break. I don't make any money doing this. And I have to spend money just to have this going. So, you really kind of ruined your business. But, anywho, found Riverside, which we're giving a shot. Using it, the free, you get a little bit free for a while, and then they'll charge you, but it's like $15 a month. I think we can swing that. So we're doing that. So I got all these little pop-ups to say, hey, do the thing, show, there, donate. If you go to the Forever Adventure Network, we have blogs and a store. Get all your cool, unique MacGyver you can get a t-shirt and pants and T-Public and Red Bubble. Thank you. Red Bubble. Think of something you can put something on, and one of those has it. So there's bed sheets and blankets and posters. See the poster? That's there. And yeah, so there's a blog. You can donate and help if you want to do that. Yay, please. Also, I decided, look, I'm going to call our office the Fan Cave.
I just heard that for the first time.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if you look, anybody who's been with us before, you might notice our room looks different. The wonderful Cindy painted all the brown to be like a nice bluish gray, kind of brighten up stuff. And I reorganized the back here to have some new stuff for you guys to look at instead of watching me all the time. Yeah, see, it's a nice mix of MacGyver and comic stuff and, music, and there's Nez and Harry Chapin. But, yeah, so we have like a behind her, the other way, go this way. We have a nice little office chair and an ottoman thing. So we're trying to make this be like a real grown-up kind of clean, not just a place where you shove stuff. It gets on my nerves. Clutter is not my friend. So yeah, we've made it nice. We got new rugs, which you can't see. But if you go on I did load it up on our Discord. We have a Discord. Go to the Forever Adventure Network. There's everything there. That's our hub. You'll be able to see pictures. Our living room now is the same. So she busted her rear end over a weekend about a month ago and made this look more modern, more classy. So let me think. Oh, I'm working on, as always, still trying to get people who have given me what they call the Hollywood yes, but they're busy, so I got to kind of work around their schedule. Michael DeBar, Dalton James years ago said, yeah, and then he got off social. He's not on so much, so I'm trying to go through those channels to get him to come on. And Tony Amendola is always busy, but he's like, yeah, I'll come on, and but just to let you know, always trying to bring on some fun guests for everybody. But the numbers help. Anything you can watch, share, subscribe to on YouTube or any of your podcast apps, it helps. And yeah, donate. That a little money would help us be able to do more. For example, this site, if this works out, we're gonna probably start using it, and it costs $15 a month. So any little bit that you can do is wonderful. But again, just sharing this and watching it is wonderful too. It's not taken for granted. So with that in mind, let's get discussing To Be a Man. I'm going to give you some information which I am getting from the MacGyver online website. Air date was March of 1986. It's episode 17. The writer was Don Mankiewicz, and the director was Cliff Boyle. And their summary is: shot down and wounded by the Soviets in Afghanistan, MacGyver is given refuge by an Afghan woman and her son. Okay. Sid Haig, by the way, who everybody knows from the Rob Zombie stuff, makes his second appearance as the bad guy. Not the same character, but a bad guy who rides a horse and is after MacGyver. The other one, when he first appeared, was when MacGyver was stealing back the horse during the opening gambit early on. But this was his second. It's funny how characters or actors that you kind of go, yeah, he's from MacGyver. Well, later on happens to become like a cult favorite in some other franchise. You're like, yeah, but I know where you came from. You know, everybody knows Terry Hatcher. And we knew Terry Hatcher way before Lois and Clark and anything else that she did. Let's see. Dana Elcar, obviously Pete Thornton is just in the beginning. Let's get into it. So, MacGyver is flying a plane, which is very odd because he doesn't like to fly. He doesn't consider himself a great pilot. So I always kind of chalk this up to, yeah, you flew straight, you knew what was going to happen, so don't crash it, you're okay. He's looking for a satellite that crashed in that area. And meanwhile, they show Pete back at the office monitoring with someone else. Oh, MacGyver, there he is. He's right where he should be. Everything's going well. And then he gets spotted by the Russian military, who say, hey, you're in Afghani airspace. It's restricted. Get the heck out of here and identify yourself. He doesn't respond, which apparently was all part of the plan, and they shoot at him. And instead of, this is kind of interesting to me. Instead of trying to do the whole, well, I'm going to be, Top Gun and outfly the missiles and do some, that would have been
Too out of character.
Too out of character. To really, he's, very early on, one of the best things I love about MacGyver is he's not perfect, and he knows he's not perfect. And they don't make him Mr. Invincible. He's not Batman. He's got his strengths, he's got his weaknesses, he knows where he is, he's comfortable with who he is. So they just let the missiles are two or three missiles coming at him. And they show the plane blow up after he says, well, I think it's time I get the heck out of here. And ba-boom! So the audience goes, we didn't see him eject. But then they show him coming down. At night, by the way, so that's fun. And Pete says, he always waits until the last possible second, which they have MacGyver say. I can just hear Pete Thornton now saying that, which is cute. And very much in that limited time that we see Pete, it's worth it. Like, I understand Pete was, I believe, part of the main cast by that point. And they kind of were like, well, we got to give Pete something to do. He's got to show up. That was perfect. That was his job. He was monitoring it. You have to know that it's not MacGyver by himself on this mission. Somebody's watching. Great. So then he's landing. He lands with the parachute and is tucking it up and hiding it, which is standard procedure. But like he says, if they already know he's there, it's not really going to make much of a difference. They're kind of hoping, the whole plan was, we're going to let you blow up this jet to make it look like you died. Maybe they'll just leave you alone. Not so much. They don't. they're hopping in their jeeps and the horses and the bandits, the Afghani bandits are like working for the Russians and they're going to get them. So, okay. By the way, I like the fact, I like to see MacGyver in a jumpsuit. That, right? It's very, of course, it reminds me of a Stargate thing because Jack O'Neill's one of them. But, you know, I like that MacGyver has to follow. It can't be MacGyver in the leather jacket all the time or whatever. He's got to play along and play the part. And if he's flying a plane, you can't just wear your everyday uniform. You have to wear the getup. And I love that. So MacGyver doesn't even have to be a good pilot. He just has to fly it and get it blown up. But he finds where the satellite is. It's up on a big mountain rock edge thing. And by the way, real satellite. That was what would happen with those. They had like wings to help it land. So now he's up on the rock, and they're finding him. I always appreciate the fact that he doesn't deal with idiots. Like, these are not necessarily clumsy buffoons. These are dangerous people that you wouldn't want to meet any time in your life. And they're not just going, I don't know where he is, and don't look up. Oh, there he is. And they start climbing the mountain. Well, I love that he takes the time, and that you can feel the uh-oh feeling of, you don't have a weapon, and you got an army coming after you. Oh, by the way, besides them coming up the mountain to get him, another guy's just shooting rockets at him to blow up. I think he's over here. Shoot one there. No? All right, shoot one a little to the left. Pressure. Scary, scary pressure. So, I love the fact that he takes the time to look over when he hears people coming and goes, oh, just, rolls on his back. Perfect. And now has to quickly go over and MacGyver the wings to make a hand glider. While you have explosions all around you. So typically you would think, yeah, he's going to throw himself off, fly, and he'll get away. End of an episode.
It's been on for 4 minutes. That can't be it.
That's the shortest episode ever. Man, we got chipped. But I love the fact that they don't forget, Lord, I hate heights. And he throws himself off because, again, I know that feeling, but rock in a hard place, he still has to throw himself off and hope that he doesn't die. Because it's certain death behind him. They're right there. So he launches his hand glider, which he used with the duct tape and the bolts that were there, and is flying.
And again, just the whole thing of him not being a superhero and being a regular guy who hates heights. I'm like, right there with you. Like, I get it.
She said that out loud as we were watching it. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's flying away, trying to get away. But again, bullets move fast, and these guys know how to aim. So already, like, he's further away, but they're aiming and putting holes in the material. And he's looking around and trying to bob and weave, and he gets shot. This is one of those episodes where they wound him bad. I mean, he's not at his peak, and he's laying in bed a good chunk of this episode. And right in the shoulder. He does that. And, now his arm's pretty much dead. And I love that. I love that you actually see him flying with the arm dangling. That's realistic. Mm-hmm. A lot of these action heroes from the 80s and since are always, I'll just
It's fine.
Be tough. Work through the pain. Bull crap. You ever get a paper cut? That hurts. I'm done for the day. Uh, so he's, wincing and trying to land this, and here they're watching him. So they're going, all right, he's going over there. So they start chasing on horses, and whoever gets there first, yay for them. And he crashes in a creek, a very shallow creek, and it's not a pretty landing. Like, and flips it and is laying there, and now he's running like he's dangling. His arm is just useless, and he's trying. He can't even stand up completely to run, so he's very like a wounded dog, trying to get away. Well, one guy is ahead of the rest, and he's coming on his horse. He's doing that, like, letting them know this is where I am, and I'm gonna get this guy. And you could see, you could feel that desperation of, oh, this is how a lot of movies end. With this guy, he's going to get gunned down, it's over. And he uses the material and a rock, and with his left hand, slingshots, hits the guy off the horse. Left-handed, by the way. So he's not left-handed, he's right-handed. But again, the arm is useless. But it's a great shot. I love that image of him and flinging it. So, but then he turns and basically collapses. Like, he's got blood loss and owies and, but then the young boy who was watching this is in a little one-room hut with his mother. The father's dead. These bandits have killed his father. Actually, the guy that Sid, the character that he plays, is the one who shot him in the back, we find out. And he's abusing the mother while the kid's outside. And the kid's looking up and sees that MacGyver's plane and the explosion. And so he's trying to find him. Daylight's now coming up. And he watches MacGyver take this guy out with a slingshot. Runs over and says, come on, you got to move. And MacGyver says, I don't think I can. And love that. He's like, okay. No, he's
like, no.
And the kid goes and gets a horse, the guy's horse they just knocked off. MacGyver climbs on it. The kid walks him back to his house, his little hut.
And that scene, too, he's literally just hanging on the horse. Like, he's not, riding a horse. He's just
trying not to fall
slumped over it. And, yeah.
Yeah. One bullet, by the way. It's not like in the action movies where people take a few bullets and just keep walking. One bullet, that's all it takes. And I love that. I love that he's never been the Mr. Macho, work through the pain garbage. Even Jack O'Neill, like, RDA has always been real in whatever part he plays. So yeah, they get him there, and the mother's like, what are you doing? I don't know this guy. And one of the things I noticed was how desperate the mother and the son is for a man in their life for different reasons. Like, the kid wants a father. And this guy, he could do anything. He made this guy, he flew. I saw him fly. Can you teach me to fly? He's like, and he tells the mother, this guy can help us. The mother goes, I'll help him. So she tries to patch him up. Meanwhile, Sid shows up again. And where's your mother? Well, instead of saying, oh, she's in there doing her thing and whatever, this kid starts getting mouthy. Hey, doesn't need you anymore, pal. Hit the bricks. She's got a new man. He'll kill you. Shut up. I understand third world country. Young kid doesn't quite understand that MacGyver is not magic and isn't going to make him fly. I got that. But shut up. You don't know how this is going to end. The guy's wounded. You just assume, oh, MacGyver will take care of him. So the guy goes, what? Starts going in. MacGyver is inside, hears all this, and she goes, okay, you got to hide. He goes, no. Let him come to us. looks around, sees the canister of gas that was connected to their little stove, sets it up, and gets something to smack it, waits for the guy to kick open the door, and goes, BAM! Breaks the end of the canister, which forces all the air out, and hits this guy in the chest. I feel that every time I see that. It's very sharp, hard, and it knocks the guy back, and he shoots himself with his own gun. MacGyver doesn't know that, runs out. By the way, his arm is shot, but he's still got to stop this guy, and looks, and the guy's not moving. And the kid's like, shoot him! Shoot him! Calm down. MacGyver's like, there's no point. He already killed himself with his own gun. They flip him over. And yeah, so this kid, they go back in. The mother says, get rid of the horse. But Mom, it's a beautiful horse. Get rid of the freaking horse. It's the guy's horse. They're going to see it. But the kid takes the bridle off the horse because it's made of silver. Doesn't listen to his mother. Says, oh, sorry, horse, can't keep you. Hit the road, but I'm taking this. One of the things, and this is very true to that culture and the kid needing so desperate to have a father, but also, I'm a man. I'm the man of the house. You know, that whole women are lesser than kind of mentality. They don't shy away from that here, and I love that. They're not trying to be politically correct. They're being accurate. He's sitting with MacGyver, thinking, oh, we could get MacGyver to stay. Yeah, hey, we've got mountains. You know, we got mountains. I'll show him my secret hiding place. Wow, that'll make you stay. But again, the kid's desperate, and so's the mother for any sort of sincere loving. And he's talking to MacGyver, who's just laying there, and you know, and will you show me this, and will you show me that, and you know, MacGyver's talking to him and picking up on the very, you know, that's woman's work and that sort of thing. And instead of lecturing the kid, he kind of smirks at him like, okay, your mother's out milking the goat? I thought that was your job. Oh, that's not man's work. That's women's work. And MacGyver kind of looks at him and he goes, the goat doesn't like me. It won't give me any milk. So he smiles. And, you know, he's very kind to him. And again, this is one of those moments where it could have been very, very preachy about how men and women are treated equal. And, you know, MacGyver's just kind of subtly telling him, you know, you're the man of the house. That, oh, yeah, the kid goes, yeah, when you feel better, you'll beat me with this whip. MacGyver goes, why would I beat you? Because I deceived you. I lied. I was using you, basically. And MacGyver says, when the mother comes over, he says, oh, thank you for your help. I'm alive because of you and the man of the house, which gives the kid that, you know, pushing out his chest feeling of, yeah, I'm a man. Wow, how about that? And the mother says, okay, go do your chores or whatever. And MacGyver says, hey, don't forget your whip, which was Sid's, the bad guy. He took it. Oh, by the way, kid buries the dead guy by himself, which is what gets that whole conversation started. MacGyver's like, you did that all on your own? Oh, yeah, buried him like a dog. I would treat my dog better, but I get his point. And MacGyver says, don't forget your whip, because now it's his whip, because he's the man of the house. Instead of trying to change him in our way of thinking, he kind of works within those boundaries. He's not lecturing the kid. He's trying to build him up where he needs it and trying to dismiss the rest.
Without trying to unlearn everything the kid has learned his entire life and teach him something new.
Exactly. Besides, it's one room, 2 beds, you know. So the mother is kind of like, how you feeling? And let's take a look at your wound. And golly, you're a good looking man. Kind of giving him the eyes. And she looks at the wound and says, "It's infected. We're gonna have to cauterize it," which means burn it. That's what that means. It means you have an infection. If you burn something, there's no more germs because you burned it, meaning the flesh. And MacGyver goes, "Ouch." like, oh, this is gonna suck. Okay. But lets it happen. She goes over and gets the iron from the fire and gives him something to chew on. And I love this too. He passes out from the pain. He's always very convincing with the pain that he's feeling, but then he's done. Has the thing in his teeth that she has to remove, but because of the pain, he passes out. Realistic, and I love it. So now he's done. I mean, he's sleeping through the night. This episode, by the way, is very let's see what the bad guys are doing heavy. It's probably one of the things, I know it's necessary. I'm not picking on the writing. But for me personally, and I know that this is something that I'll never deny, my enjoyment of a MacGyver or a Stargate episode is contingent on how much RDA is in it. That's not just like blind love. Oh, I love him. So it's no, but he's such a special person, an actor, and these characters are so unique and so special, and so we've had guests on the podcast who've said, yeah, your eyes go to them. Doesn't matter who they're in the room with, they're the one that you're watching through the scene. They may not be even saying anything, but you're watching their facial expressions because that's entertaining enough. Rick is that guy. There's a couple other actors who I think we've said that have that too. But Rick is always entertaining, even if he's not talking. So if you're showing me a lot of bad guy, whether it's needed or not, it's like, okay, yep, suffer through it until we get back. And they have to, because they're also letting you know these guys never stopped looking for him. You got the bandits and the Russians all coming for this one guy. I don't know what he took out of the satellite, by the way, which isn't really important.
They never explained that.
Which I guess you don't have to. I personally would have liked to know, was there like plans in there? Was it some sort of circuitry? But it was a little capsule.
Yeah, it was like a tube.
Tube.
Like a metal tube.
Not the most important thing. But the other side of me goes, well, what was it? what did he get shot for?
What you got?
Yeah. And I will say this. I have a friend who I met through a job who I got into MacGyver. He didn't give it the chance he should have because he said, the first couple episodes, it's either deserts or it's like a gray plain area where they're filming, which was true, which is why in the third season, Stephen Downing got them to go to Vancouver, not just because it was cheaper, but because you could be anywhere in the world and still be in Vancouver. You could make anything look like a jungle or, a desert or rocks, whatever. Pick the scenario, they have it.
Any type of building that you need, they have it.
Right. And in this first season, you definitely get that sort of, again, it never bothered me, but when he said it, I'm like, I understand what you're saying. Wouldn't stop me from watching more, but it's something you just gotta go, all right, whatever, let it go. But in rewatching it, now I see it. This is very deserty, all the time desert. Big rocks, desert. Got it. This episode is very much a product of what everybody, it's different obviously because it's MacGyver, but the cookie cutter outline of this is very 80s action hero-y, you know, Top Gun kind of. All right, I basically I've seen Chuck Norris do these movies, and I'm sure there's others that you see where it's bad guys after us. Here's your basic outline for an '80s action film against Afghanistan people or Russians or whatever. Plane gets shot down. You're on the run. A lot of time is going to be shown how the bad guys are coming for you. You're going to find this pretty woman who's either living on her own or with the kid. And while the kid's out doing whatever, you're going to make sweet, sweet love to this woman. It's a cliche 80s hero thing. They're going to do a whole montage of that. And in the end, he's going to leave anyway. But that's not really the point of the movie. The point is that he's going to have a shoot 'em up, running from the bad guy thing going. That was a lot of what was happening. Anybody out there can go down their own personal checklist of movies they saw. Sometimes the writers would go, all right, taken from the headlines, like Baby Jessica and the Well, we've talked about things like this. Or take it from hit movies. What was it? Youngbloods, I think, was the hockey movie with Rob Lowe that they took the episode from Thin Ice. They would do that sometimes, which is fine. But this felt like this was written before Richard Dean Anderson was picked as MacGyver. I think when they said, okay, it's a guy, he doesn't use guns, he's uses his brains instead, but he's a special kind of agent, and go. That feels like what this was. Because there's nothing really about MacGyver's personal life, his personal views on most things. It's, take action hero, put him in there, and if they take out the MacGyverisms and they just throw in a gun, that's the same, they would have done this on many, many, many shows or movies. What makes it unique is the fact that it's MacGyver. So they also have to walk the line of getting your message in there, but not saturating it. You don't want it to be so heavy-handed where you're like, all right, now it's an after-school special. Got it, So yeah, that's been it. He sleeps through the night. They wake up in the morning and they're like, "Oh, you think he'll stay?" I think he'll stay. Well, no, MacGyver's not going to stay. It's kind of naive, sweet that the kid thinks that he would stay, but they're just so desperate for a solid guy in their life. So let me think. A lot of the bad guys are still talking amongst themselves. We're going to find them. And this young Russian soldier, is getting... Oh, by the way, Sid and his friends early on killed the guy who MacGyver hit with the slingshot because he failed. You let a wounded man get away, pulls out a gun. The other two guys are holding him and go, what the heck? No. And they shoot him dead. You're not a tough guy because you killed one of your own men. You're an idiot because you killed one of your own men. Anyway, so now it's the next morning. MacGyver wakes up, says he's hungry. They tell the kid, keep an eye out in case anybody's coming. So now the Russian guy, the young Russian soldier who was getting dressed down by his superior, talking about how, I'd kill you if I didn't need soldiers. Great. All right, another one of you. He is going to go out with one of the bandits because the guy says, why have you not found him? Well, the guy says, look, we checked all of the perimeters. We've checked any rivers. We've checked the mountains, caves. We only have a couple more houses around that we have to check, and we're going to get him. Relax. The guy says, well, you better, or you'll be court-martialed, shot, and need to wear a wig. We don't. Lots of bad things. So now him and the soldier and the bandit are going to go to the houses. Well, they pick that house. And the kid comes running back and says, Mama, Russians, they're coming. And MacGyver says, okay, get in the house, go in the house. I'll deal with this. And hides in the hay because it's the Russian soldier and a mean-looking bandit. And the bandit goes, they show up. MacGyver had hid in the haystack, but tied a rope around the supporting beam of like the shed where I guess they would store the horses. And it's everything is just on its last legs in that area. It's not pretty. So that is the only thing keeping that roof up, which again normally wouldn't be a problem, but MacGyver tied a rope around it, hid in the hay. Mean Bandit shows up, goes into the door and goes up to the door. She comes out, goes, what do you want? Get inside, woman. Pushes her inside. She has the kid eating some sort of beef gravy thing, which I don't know. In my head, I can picture what that tastes like. I don't know about you, but that was like, apparently it's pretty good. I'm thinking of it like it's like an Indian food, right? Like butter chicken or something. That's kind of where my mind goes.
I went more to like Dinty wort beef stew.
Sure. Yeah. No, same thing. Yeah, it's that thick gravy, and for all you know, that's what they actually used on the set. Crack open a can of the Dinty Moore. We got a scene to do. Kid's gonna be eating it. Okay. Don't have the can in the shot though. It'll work. So the guy walks over. What do you got, kid? Takes it off him. Smells good. Starts picking it up with his hands. I know.
Like, couldn't have just grabbed the kid's spoon? Like, why?
I'm an American. I know I sound foolish. A lot of people just do that. But
the kid was eating it with the spoon.
Yeah.
Like, the kid was using something to eat it with. Like, why couldn't the guy just...
Because this shows how I don't care. I'm a big, tough guy. Give me more of this. She's like, yeah, I get you one. Goes over and is trying to distract. Meanwhile, the kid's going... telegraphing, by the way, to the bad guy. Don't look where I'm looking.
Don't look under that or...
See where the sun's shining?
Yeah.
See where against the silver? Don't look over here where I'm looking. The guy sees it because, again, the kid's telegraphing the whole thing. What is this? What is this? So the jig is up. The horse's bride.
Yeah.
That the little idiot didn't listen to. Meanwhile, outside...
Didn't even hide very well either.
Oh, no.
Didn't
throw a blanket. Yeah. Yeah. It was under his bed. His cot.
Yeah.
But, think ahead. Will you, for the love of God? You're kind of in the middle of trouble. You got the American who's sleeping right there. They're going to come looking for him. So, meanwhile, the Russian guy's like standing outside looking around. Happens to stand next to, eventually, right where MacGyver was hoping he would. Anywhere under that roof. And he pulls the rope, breaks the beam. The roof falls on the guy. And MacGyver, with his left hand, smacks him. And it's a good punch,
it was
too.
A good punch, yeah,
right?
I noticed that.
To be left-handed. Hits him, knocks him out, but then boogies around the side because here comes the other guy. Because he heard it. He heard the thing collapse. He was going to kick the crap out of the mother and the kid, but wait a minute, what's that? Runs outside, sees the Russian soldier under a pile of roof, goes to go around the corner, and wham! MacGyver hits him with the shovel. And it's a great shot.
The noise.
That whang! Yeah. Whang! And the guy just, boom, he's out. So now the Russian guy gets up. MacGyver has his gun. And the kid's like, shoot him, MacGyver, shoot him! The bloodlust on this kid. Calm down. And MacGyver looks at him. The guy's like, okay, you going to kill me? You're not going to kill me? What are we doing? And MacGyver says, go on, get out of here. And the the mother and the soldier goes, what? Gives him a look up. What? You want me to? Yeah.
Just run.
Run.
Yep.
Run. Get out of here. And I get it. And the kid goes, you had the gun. Why didn't you kill him? MacGyver says and pulls this off where other people can't because I didn't have to. That should be enough for anybody.
And somehow it doesn't sound preachy.
It doesn't sound preachy. It doesn't sound written. It sounds
Doesn't sound
natural.
like grandiose. Like, I didn't have to kill him.
This is going to be on a t-shirt. Pay attention close up on me because I didn't have to. Like, it's not
Right.
like...
It's not self-indulgent, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You know?
It's very much the magic that I always say Dana Elcar had in delivering lines that, Pete Thornton there wouldn't, somebody else trying to say certain lines, you'd go, oh, for the love of God.
Right.
Case in point, just because we're watching Defenders for my daughter's sake. Okay, we're going through all the Daredevil because we realize she knows who Daredevil is and she's watching the Marvel shows, but she wasn't old enough to watch Daredevil and
Series.
Defenders. Yeah. She only saw She-Hulk and Spider-Man No Way Home? Mm-hmm. No Way Home, where Matt Murdock shows up. And we were like, wait a minute, you haven't watched the series Daredevil? So, long story short, we got up to Defenders. One of the problems...
It's 60% we want her to see it, and 40% we just want to watch it again.
Yes, really the best Marvel show ever. And can't wait for the new series, Born Again. Anywho, very much in the realm of lines that you have to be able to pull off. Pete Thornton could, MacGyver could, where other people can't because they make it sincere. They make it who they are. And you go, yeah, I buy it and I'm inspired by it. Danny, Iron Fist, and people pick on the actor for this. I don't agree that he gets all the blame. He's just a guy trying to do his job. He was given a character who is whiny, and I'm a toughie. I'm gonna fight you at every chance I get. Grow up. You're supposed to be an inspiring superhero, not someone looking to swing at somebody all the time. Some of the lines that they have written for this character don't play well, and it's hurt. Yeah, it's hurt the public's image of who Danny Rand is. And the actor, what's his name?
Finn.
Yes.
Finn Jones.
Finn Jones. I would like to see them give him another chance to be Iron Fist on a team with Daredevil, etc. But what they have had him say are such classic lines as, "Don't make me use this," is Iron Fist. Don't make me use this. You're in control of you. Don't make me use this. By the way, I am the immortal Iron Fist. Hi, how you doing? I am the immortal Iron Fist. I am the immortal Iron Fist. Shut up! You sound like an idiot.
Who are you?
The immortal Iron Fist.
Oh, right.
Not just Iron. I'm the immortal Iron Fist. You kind of just go, shut up. If you were at a party, I'd walk away from you. Like, guy, good for you. Hey, shrimp. And they make him say these lines, which, again, I blame the writing more. He's constantly going to show you how powerful he is. And that's the difference between MacGyver and things like that. When MacGyver says things, you go, yeah, I believe it. And I'm sure that Rick, being Rick, spoke up if something didn't feel right. He did it on Stargate. He did it for other actors on Stargate. He made sure everybody had a say in their character, because nobody knows your character more than you. So let them work on it, even if it's at the moment. If he says something, goes, that sounds stupid. Can we change that? Which is where he got the freedom to ad-lib, because his ad-libs were in the moment and felt real and felt natural. So he says this to the kid. I didn't have to, so I didn't. That should be enough for anybody. And the kid kind of goes, oh. So the kid is learning. This is kind of the kid's journey. You know, that he's an annoying kid, but the point is that he's supposed to be learning. He's inspired by MacGyver. So, all right, we got to get going. I'm sorry. I know this is your home. And the mother says, we don't have anything. There's nothing here for us. Well, thank God, because you still have to go. Meanwhile, while they're saying this here, the chickens around. I'm like, well, who's going to take care of the chickens? They need someone to take care. You know, it's not like a horse. A horse will find a creek and whatever. But chickens, well, you know.
They're also a commodity. Like somebody will be like, oh, free chickens. And like, you know what I mean?
That's what I think too. I'm like, oh, there's nothing here for us.
What do you mean?
Hey, right here. So they got to pack up their crap and go. And they take the Russian's Jeep, by the way. So the Russian runs back. They cut to him running down or walking down the road. Here comes another Russian Jeep. He's like, hey, guys. The American. All right, get in. Now they go back to the boss. My thought is, why didn't you just keep driving?
That's what I thought. You're like, did they just turn around?
They turned around. So what, you got to go check in with the boss to get yelled at and threatened before you go find the American? He knows where they are.
Yeah, I thought that was odd too.
But you're not a great soldier.
Only there were the guys that turned around.
Right. I mean, what? I said American.
It's over there.
American. Back. We're gonna get yelled at first. All right. So then they go back and guess what? They get yelled at. You stupid moron. You know. If I wasn't in such need of soldiers, I'd have you shanghaied.
Well, it was what he lost the.
You lost the Jeep.
The Jeep, the American, and something else.
And
Your
you had a
pride,
friggin' roof fall on your
Oh, that's
head. You became one of the Marx brothers. What the heck you doing? So, yeah, he goes, okay. He goes, go get the Jeep or jump in the tank. Now they're sending a tank after him. If you don't come back with him, God help you.
Yes, if you do come back, you're only getting like.
Yeah, you're going to lose 6 months' pay and get court-martialed.
Yeah. That's the good scenario.
Yeah, that's the good scenario. If you don't, well, just bring them back. How about we just do that?
How about we go with plan A?
Yeah. So he goes, and MacGyver and the mother and son are in the Jeep, and they're all right. She knows. She goes, we have to go down that road. Are you sure? This is my home. Good enough for me. And they're driving. So you think, hey, they're gonna drive out of there. Well, bad guys have binoculars and say, whoa, there they are. There they are. All right, get the bazooka out. Love of God. Like, I will say this, as with most episodes, there is a constant, you're living by the moment. You could die at any, and I think that gets downplayed, or you just, as an audience member, you tend to take it for granted. One, because it's MacGyver, and you know he's going to be MacGyver, but he's still human. And two, when you watch it repeatedly, such as myself, you forget that no, this could go bad at any second, and they're shooting missiles at you, not just bullets, which are, as you can tell, are bad. Bazookas, and they're showing that the Jeep turn just as it blows up next to them, blows up in front of them. I mean, they're just trying to zigzag as much as they can to get the heck out of there.
And honestly, as somebody who hasn't launched them 150 times, it is very edge of your seat. You know, I've probably seen them like, 3 times maybe. And it is. It's very like, oh my God. like, oh no, they're not safe. Okay, now what? You know, like just boom, 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 just one thing after another.
And oh, by the way, you still are handicapped. You can't use your arm. Oh, side note, you know why his arm was in a sling? I mean, for the show, it was the shoulder wound, which makes me wonder what sort of rewrites they had to do. He's in a sling. His arm's in a sling because before they started filming that episode, he broke his arm at like a celebrity skiing thing. Being Rick, jumping off cliffs and being MacGyver, broke his arm. And so it's in that, it might, for all I know, it's the same wound that he had in the previous episode with when he first meets Penny Parker and his arm's in a cast. That makes sense, actually. If they film that chronologically, it's the same cast. So that answers that question. But so I wonder if in the original script, if he got wounded. And if he did get wounded, was he still able to use both of his arms originally?
Yeah, maybe it was some other type of wound.
Right.
Like maybe he got in the leg or something.
Boo-booed his knee or something. Yeah. Cool, though. You know, that's... You got to remember, this is 1986. All these episodes hold up. There's never a part where you go... You know, even when... Oh, where are you going with this? You're going to give me Tough Boys. Yeah, I knew you were going to do Tough Boys. I was just going to say. But Tough Boys is...
Wait a minute.
No, Tough Boys is still... We laugh, but you will admit, we still walk around going, Tough Boys! Tough Boys! They're coming at you. That was actually put out, I think, as a single, too. Believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, good for them.
Hilarious.
It's, you know... Compared to the crap we listen to now, it doesn't sound as bad. You know, it sounds goofy, but it's harmless. By the way, I don't know if you know, I'm the Immortal Iron Fist. I'm a tough boy.
True.
Coming at you. Using this. It's that kind of thing, though.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't need to tell us how tough you are. Just be tough. But yeah, that still was right for the time.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, you got to remember, late 80s, early 90s, you had Will Smith talking about be good to your mama and, you know, things like that. So I'll take it. It was never my cup of tea, but at least it wasn't telling you to shoot the cops or, you know, the Crips and the Bloods and the whatever. So, anywho, this all still holds up well. There's no complaint with that. There's nothing that typically feels mid-80s. Even when it was the later 80s with the, what was the outfits they used to wear that I told you my mother bought me because it was like it was supposed to be the hip thing and I only wore it when we were on vacation away from people. Jams.
I was going to say, like, the
Jams.
Cabaret fans for the jams.
Yeah. I remember going out to dinner in New Jersey because we were gone to the shore for a couple weeks. And like, yeah, everything matches, the shorts and the shirt. It looks like I'm wearing a one-piece orange and blue flowered mess.
I was gonna say, did it have like little like designs on it too, like the black? Like, it was always neon with like the black designs over it.
Yep.
Awesome.
Jams.
Any pictures of that anywhere?
God, no. If there is, I don't know where they are, and I'm not looking for them.
Calling your mom.
Yeah. Actually, she gave us a whole bag of photos that are in one of those binder things, so for all I know. Anyway, MacGyver typically doesn't really jump out at you at too many moments where you go, oh, clearly that was a 80s or a 90s decision. And when they do, you go, well, it was accurate for the time, and it doesn't, yeah. Nothing too over the top where you go, you know. And there are things that do that you can't rewatch because they try too hard to be hip and of the moment, and that just ends up. When you make it topical, you date yourself. That's a writing rule, by the way. Some shows follow that, others not so much. Beverly Hills 90210 doesn't hold up. Anywho, of course, that was a problem of the week. You know, all right, who has AIDS this week? All right, next week we're doing.
She's pregnant.
Next week, after that, cancer. We got that. Okay, you just go, man. This is a heavy life these kids are living. So now they're getting to a point where one of the bazookas blew up in front of them, so it's a swerve. He smashed into one of the rock walls and can't get the car started or the Jeep. So they're catching up on him. Here they come. And it's 3 soldiers in a Jeep. And MacGyver goes, okay. The kid's like, we don't have any weapons. He goes, yeah, we do. And you can see the rock formation over it. So he runs up. He gets the water from the Jeep, tells the kid, bring that up. That's water. Yep. Bring it up. Takes the...
Fire extinguisher?
Thank you. Fire extinguisher. You run up to the top. and he starts spraying it, pouring water in, spraying it, because ice expands, as we all know, and there's a crack in that rock. Now he starts to do that, but then just to help it along, he gets another rock and wedges it in there, which is smart because you do need something to force it. You know, it can slowly do this, but how are you going to make it fall when you want it to fall? Put something in it to give it that last push. So the bad guys pull up. He's spraying it with the fire extinguisher to freeze it. The water expands. He hits the top of it with a rock, and the wedge pushes down. Just as they park, because that was position, he said himself, that they're going to stop there because of where the Jeep is. Mm-hmm. It falls. Now, you have to make a decision there. MacGyver knows this can crush 3 people.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, that was a lot.
These guys get out of the way.
Yeah, or they don't.
But then it blows up, so they're at least knocked out.
Yeah.
But MacGyver was going to have to crush these people because they were going to kill him. The other two. And the other two. So that needs to be understood. MacGyver doesn't carry a gun. He doesn't try to kill. He also isn't opposed to it if, God forbid, he had to.
It's the only option. Yeah.
There's Logjam, where he's fighting the Yakuza guy on the thing that's going up to the top, and the guy's on top of him trying to like stab him. He gets on top of them, sees that they're coming to the end, jumps off, and lets this guy plummet to his death. That was a clear decision. He didn't have a choice. But anybody who thinks, it's like the A-Team, nobody ever dies. No, MacGyver doesn't advertise it, but if somebody's going to die and he doesn't have a choice, he has to be okay with it as much as you can. This was one of those times early on, first season. But these guys get out of the way just as the thing falls, which is, by the way, holy crap with the stunt people. There's a rock that falls on top of that and then blows up the Jeep. So that's one shot. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was really...
The fact that nobody got hurt that I know of is amazing. So then they're like, all right, piece of cake, let's go. And she says, you got 2 kilometers to go right through this path and we're home free. Great. But as they get through the rock, there's the guy in the Jeep or in the tank that MacGyver said, run, go. And they're like, oh, crap. The guy is facing them with a tank. He could fire at any second. Just boom. Blow him away. And the kid says, that's the guy that you let go. Easy now. While we're alive, there's still a chance, Basically, where there's life, there's hope. Love that. Without it being preachy, he still says it. And the guy says, American, if I were to have seen you, I would tell you 2 kilometers east is your way out. If I saw you. But next time, American, I drop roof on you. And they kind of smile and he gives him one of those. The guy pulls away. And the kid says, if you had killed him back there like I wanted you to, there would have been a different soldier who would have taken his place and he would have killed us for sure. MacGyver just says, he doesn't go, that's right. Oh, yeah. Stupid kid. He doesn't do that. He goes, something to think about, isn't it? And lets it go. He's very humble, but also don't forget this kid.
Right.
Like that's what that is. The other thing I like about MacGyver's way of telling the kid to do stuff, he's firm. MacGyver's always been firm with his directions. Like, I don't have time to coddle you. Get up here with the water. Mm-hmm. Pour that. And he's not doing it to be tough. He's not doing it to bully the kid. He is telling, we got limited time. I don't have time for this. Let's go. Do your thing. And I love that because it's not mean. It never comes off mean. It just comes off firm because we don't have a choice now. We can't talk about our feelings right now. You just do what I'm telling you. So then they're like, well, we have 2 more kilometers to go. It's enough time for 2 friends to say goodbye.
Men.
Or 2 men, because the kid has to be the man. 2 men to say goodbye, huh? And he goes, and he lets them go. He lets them lead the way. And as they're walking, the freeze frame is of the kid putting his hand up on MacGyver's back. Just a nice, I don't think that was planned.
No, I don't either.
And they just went right there, freeze it. That's your out shot. And that's the episode. It's funny because you forget Pete was in it. Because he's only in it for like 2 minutes in the beginning. But I love that. I love the fact that they didn't do what a lot of shows do. And I'm thinking Flash, CW shows. Well, we like this actor. So we got to force to write for him. We have to cram him into episodes even when he's not needed.
And when he's dead, we'll just bring him back.
Yeah, if he's dead, guess what? Clone or different dimension version, huh? That kills the show. This is a perfect example of, you know what? We did have a reason to have Pete in this episode. It's not going to be much, but he's there.
And they also didn't have him, like, okay, Pete, this is what I'm doing now. You know, like, just it wasn't a constant, like, I'm keeping you updated. It was like, no, I'm here doing my thing. You're going to find out way later on whether I was successful
And they
or not.
never had them talk to each other, too,
No.
which I love. I love it because you're right. They would have forced, we need to have a little banter.
Mhm.
We got some notes from the network. They want banter between Pete and MacGyver. Up yours. Steve Downing always fought the good fight. And just, we need him for this. And we don't. And then, guess what? There's other episodes. You're not going to see him at all. I don't think he was in the Penny Parker one at all. That's how you use a character. Bruce McGill. If you've listened to the episode, you'll hear our conversation. We talked about how John Rich wanted him to be a regular member. And we both agreed that would have been a big mistake. It would have made him not special. There's going to be
gotten on people's nerves.
He would have gotten on people,
Just because of
they would have
that's who the character was.
yeah,
and
or
you're
they would have
supposed to.
neutered him.
Yeah.
You're going to see in a couple episodes where, like, what was it? Jack of Spies. It's a second appearance. That felt a little, well, we'll get there. But basically, that's one of those where he's not the zany Jack Dalton. And there's a couple others. Jenny's Chance. He's not really Jack Dalton enough for my liking. Jack Dalton is like Murdoch. Come in, be special, have your great episode, and now we'll see you later. If you're there all the time, you lose what makes you special. And that's how they did it with Pete. If Pete's not necessary, he doesn't need to be there. Great. And you appreciate that. But again, it's those little things you take for granted when you watch it or when you've rewatched it. You go, oh yeah, you know what? You have to really pay attention because the writers and the people in charge all knew what the main goal was. It wasn't about your ego. It wasn't about service to this actor. We have to make sure we cram him in. No, it was what is best for the episode. What is best for the series. That got carried over into SG-1 for 8 years. And you can tell when that they didn't anymore. But that's a different conversation.
It's a different episode of this
Yeah.
podcast.
Which we've had already. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to ask you. You were talking about Pete being only in it for a couple minutes with that woman.
Never see her again.
Thank you. I was like, did I forget who she is, or
Nope.
was she just never?
But you know
there
what was
again?
great? That's realistic.
It is.
There are people you work with.
They don't stay.
They don't stay, or they
Or
were
they're in
there
a different
for
department.
different department. They were there for that mission.
Mhm.
You were someone for Pete to talk to. Thank you and have a good day.
Just making sure that I.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Because again, it's about what is best for the episode. If a character comes back, you go, "Ooh, they earned this. This is good. This is going to be neat. Why are they there? Oh, and I remember them from the previous thing. You know, that's great. I love that. There's even a villain that they brought back for Lost Love, who is a different actor, plays him, but it's the actor from this first season episode with the gypsies where they're doing the car race and trying to get across the border. The Russian guy who MacGyver foils shows up again in Lost Love. Now, when I originally watched that, I didn't get that connection. I didn't know, oh, that's supposed to be that character. Because they talk about, yeah, well, we had a little problem in Buddha, that guy. And you just go, all right, they're just referring to something we didn't get to see. No, we got to see that episode. And it wasn't until years later that I'm like, oh, they just recast him. oh, but that's supposed to be that guy. I love that stuff. It's just a little detail they didn't have to do, but they did anyway.
Especially since they recast him. Like, it would have just been easier to have it be a different person.
Yeah,
You know?
Budapest, that guy. Remember the guy from Budapest? Yeah, that's what I'm nice. I don't know. I don't know how lost it would be on the typical audience, though, because again, I didn't pick up on it when I was a kid originally watching it. I'm 12 maybe watching the third season. I think that's how it started. It was the 2-parter in the beginning. And I didn't go, oh, because again, you don't care about typical bad guys unless it's Murdoch. You just go, oh, okay, that's the bad guy for this episode. Let's get past him, and then we'll never see him again because MacGyver caught him. So yeah, that's the episode. The next one, do you remember what episode I said it would be?
I don't.
Oh, the next
You said it-
episode. Go ahead.
No, I remember you said it wasn't one that you was like your favorite for some reason. I couldn't remember.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you in a second. I'm looking at the website
So
where.
I remember you being like, oh, it's that one.
Right. Ugly Duckling.
See?
Yeah. Ugly Duckling will be the next episode that we discuss, I'm sure. Not a favorite because of the girl, not the actress per se, but anytime they try to have a character who comes in, I'm a smart one too. It almost feels like, oh, you're writing a spinoff? Is that what this is supposed to be? But she's kind of insufferable. But again, spoilers for next time. All right, so everybody, we're going to go. Please share this episode. It's going to be on YouTube and all of your podcast apps, just like always. Donations can be done through the Forever Adventure Network. Actually, as I always say, just go to the Forever Adventure Network. We have our store. We have blogs. We have pictures. Music by Harmony Constant. And etc. I'm working on possible new intros for the Never Gets Old podcast, the audio series MacGyver SG1. Check it out. Share with your friends. Donations are great, but also just word of mouth really, really helps. Subscribe. Hit subscribe on YouTube if you're watching this. It doesn't put money in my pocket, but at least it lets apparently YouTube know that you like this, so they kind of will have it pop up. That's the other thing I pointed out with Cindy. I don't get the algorithm of YouTube. Twitter, by the way, limits your audience. Thanks, Musk. That's great. It limits, like instead of just being out there and people could find it, it limits how many people see your post. I get 2. I'm busting my rear end sharing this with you guys, and you guys don't get to see it. That's the other thing, too. If you go into Redbubble or TeePublic, if you type in our store or the subject matter, it doesn't necessarily bring you to my store. That's why I suggest...
Yeah, I know.
I suggest going through the Forever Adventure Network because that's a direct link to our storefront. That will give you right to our page, all the designs. If you have suggestions, let me know. I'm always making new ones. I have Warlock, who's very nice with his contributions, and she's going to get up and close the thing here because that's just ticking us off. Almost. I'm like glowing here. There we go. So far, I think. Well, you'll come back and we'll see. But yeah, anything, just go to the Forever Adventure Network. It is much better. That'll take you to everything that you want instead of trying to remember stuff. Forever Adventure Network. Yeah, and share it. People will, if you share this on your own social media, that helps. Because people will click on it out of curiosity, and hopefully they love and adore this. And in the meantime, again, reach out. We're always here for questions. We have that Discord, which I always try to share with people. That's supposed to be a thing where we can chat, put up like exclusive stuff. But we'll let you go. We'll see you next time. And as always, remember, stay creative, everybody.
The MacGyver podcast is part of the Forever Adventure Network and made possible by donations to the Forever Adventure Network by Mac Jackson on Patreon. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever podcasts are heard. And follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And remember, stay creative, everyone. The Forever Adventure Network. Welcome to the adventure.
Get ready for the ultimate crossover. MacGyver meets SG-1 in a thrilling new audio series. Follow Jack O'Neill and his twin brother MacGyver as they take on enemies, explore distant worlds, and uncover new mysteries. Created and performed by Mac Jackson, this series is packed with adventure, surprises, and even returning actors from both franchises reprising their iconic roles. Stream it now on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and more. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind adventure.